Ever wonder how successful paving contractors and jurisdictions take mat density readings quickly, safely, and easily? Without all the safety concerns, hassle, and cost factors associated with nuclear gauges? The Pavement Quality Indicator from Transtech. Anyone who has used a nuclear gauge for density measurements knows its radioactive source and problems associated with that concept. Safety concerns, need for certified operators, and their extensive training, and their badges, and badge service fees, and licensing fees, and regulatory controls, including transport regulations. Plus, special storage needs, resale and disposal hassles, accident worries, security and terrorism concerns. Not to mention the day-to-day, job-to-job, reading-to-reading pains like complicated calibration, standard count weighting, the endless waiting and interpolation of results, no passenger car cabin transport, heavy lugging on-site and from site to site. The nuclear gauge is especially costly on superpave and other perpetual pavement jobs where compaction time is of the essence. Let's take a look at the Transtech Pavement Quality Indicator, better known as the PQI, and make some point-by-point comparisons of important features. First, let's consider the source. The PQI uses an electromagnetic field to measure density of asphalt compared to the cesium-137 and americium-241 beryllium sources of the nuclear gauge. The harmless PQI source can be switched off after each test, while the cesium-137 source cannot be switched off and runs for 65 years. The AM-241 source runs for 456 years. We won't wait around for that one to shut down. Thus, the lead encasement of the nuke for safety. The nuke with the case weighs in at 85 pounds, while the PQI weighs only 30 pounds, which probably accounts for the nuclear gauge operators having one arm longer than the other. Anyone in the crew can be trained to operate the PQI in a couple of hours. The nuke, on the other hand, requires extensive, expensive training for certification. Badges and badge monitoring service fees on top of that. The PQI requires no licensing whatsoever, no badges, no badge service fees, and you can carry it in the back seat of your vehicle, where it remains dry and secure. Enough of this chalk talk. Let's go out on the job site and we'll show you some typical tests. Note how easy it is to carry and set up the PQI. And once out of the case, it weighs less than a bowling ball. On most jobs, the PQI is calibrated against actual core samples, and repeatability of tests is superb. See how quick it is to run these tests? Only 3 seconds per test. This testing speed keeps the tester from delaying the roller operator and is mandatory on super pave projects where beating the tender zone could make or break a job, if not a contractor. With a fast rolling team and a PQI, we're talking bonus. But what about accuracy? You may have heard through the grapevine that PQI is not accurate. We'd guess the source of that rumor is the guy selling the nuclear gauge. Check this out. The National Center for Asphalt Technology, NCAT, ran a series of tests comparing both the PQI and the nuke against 233 actual core samples on 78 different road sections of their test track. At the end of the tests, they concluded that the difference between the corrected measured density and the actual density is similar for the two gauges, suggesting each can measure close to the same density. Okay, we've shown you how safe it is, how light it is, how easy it is to operate, and have confirmed its accuracy in a series of independent tests. So it must cost more, right? While the initial ownership costs are about the same, costs like licensing fees and annual regulatory fees, which don't exist for the PQI, are not. After you total these fees, plus calibration, repair, TLD monitoring, and safety training, you'll find that the PQI costs substantially less than the nuclear gauge. And these costs don't include disposal costs once you decide to trash the nuke. That's a pretty solid rundown on PQI's features and benefits. There's more that you'll discover once you have it out on your site. In the meantime, Transtech's engineers asked us to show you how quick it is to get the PQI up and running. Since your arm may be tired of lugging that nuke around, our animator will push the buttons for you. Before we get started, Make sure the battery's fully charged. When it is, you can run about a 12-hour shift before recharging. If not, the readout will tell you so. Let's go to work. Turn the power switch on and wait for the PQI to boot up. Takes a few seconds. The first screen will prompt you to select the predominant aggregate size or type of course being paved. 1. 25 to 35 millimeter or base. 2. 16 to 24 millimeter or intermediate. 3. 9 to 15 millimeter or top coat. Enter one of these. The PQI will then prompt you to select lift thickness units in 1. Inches or 2. Millimeters. Then enter the actual laydown thickness and press enter. This will bring you to the startup menu. If you're starting a new job, you'll want to press 1 and go through the simple setup procedure. If you are continuing a job, even from yesterday, simply press run. Next, we have to enter the maximum theoretical density, or MTD, which will be provided by the mix designer. Back at the main menu, press 2 in order to get to the MTD. Then pressing 1 allows the user either to 1. Accept an MTD value previously entered, or 2. Enter a new value. If entering a new MTD value, the next screen will prompt you to set the MTD. Use the keypad to enter the new MTD value. Calibrating the PQI to the actual core sample is easy. Let's go back on site and run through the following procedure. Select a dry area on the compacted mat. With a crayon, draw a circle around the base of the PQI. Press enter and record the density reading. Move the PQI to a spot centered on the outside perimeter of the drawn circle. Draw another circle at this new location. Press enter and record the new reading. Continue moving the PQI around the perimeter of the original circle, drawing new circles and recording readings until 5 different readings are taken. Total the 5 readings and divide by 5. That will give you an average reading for this cluster. Take a core sample from the center of the inner circle. Move this operation a few feet longitudinally away from the above cluster and repeat the same group of tests and take a core sample. If the job situation and inspector allow, take as many cluster readings as you can realistically take. Continue to average the readings to compare with the core samples. Average out the individual averages to obtain an offset value. Compare the average PQI reading against the core sample and determine the difference, or offset value. Enter this offset value into the PQI as follows. From one of the operating modes, press the Cal key. From the calibration menu, press 1 to access the offset screen. Press 1 again if the PQI average is higher than the core density, or press 2 if the PQI average is lower than the core density. Enter the average offset adjustment value. This input will be confirmed on the next screen. Follow the screen prompts and you are now ready to do some serious testing. Many paving contractors have a pretty good idea of what kind of compaction they obtain from their screeds. To start up a job with a quick offset adjustment of the PQI, enter the maximum theoretical density and take 5 quick density readings across the back of the screed. Make sure you take the readings on the uncompacted area of the mat. Average out the readings, compare them with your known screed density values, and perform the offset procedures outlined in the core tests. You'll still have to compare post-compaction readings to cores later on, but this is a quick and easy way to get in the ballpark when starting up a job. So far, this video has run 8 minutes and 17 seconds. Think back of all the tests we ran. If this were a video from the nuclear gauge, we'd just be getting started. Well, that's it. That's how easy it is to use Transtech's Pavement Quality Indicator. Now a word from our sponsor. Transtech is no fly-by-night operation. Founder Harry Apkarian ran General Electric's engineering department for many years. With a handful of other high-tech startups under his belt, Harry founded Transtech in 1994. The PQI is now in its 3rd generation and is but one of a series of solutions from Transtech for the asphalt paving industry. Transtech's temperature sensor is designed to mount directly on a double drum roller. The instrument picks up the mat temperature and displays it at the operator's station. No inaccurate temperature guns, no extra manpower, no hanging over the edge of the roller platform. The Transtech temperature sensor is perfect for today's temperature-sensitive mix designs and can be mounted on any roller brand. The longitudinal joint has long been the #1 culprit in pavement degradation. Just driving down any street in town will show you where the roads are falling apart first. And during construction, density testing along any longitudinal joint will reveal the true problem, upfront and personal. The solution to this costly problem is a notched wedge joint maker from Transtech. Conventional butt joints build a weakness into the structure where water permeates to erode subbase materials and create future potholes. The notched wedge joint maker is a simple, adjustable device that mounts easily on any paving screed. Rather than a square butt joint, the device creates a notch and a wedge at the edge of the mat. When the adjacent course is laid and compacted, the wedge joint interlocks properly with the fresh mix, and a high-density, highly impermeable joint is achieved.
Research has proven that a paved slope off the shoulder side of an asphalt mat edge provides a gradual transition off and on the pavement during emergencies. Transtech worked with the FHWA to develop a viable solution. The wedge maker is even designed to match up to intersecting driveways and roads. Transtech's shoulder wedge maker mounts easily on the right or left end of a paver screed end gate and provides a smooth, impermeable 30-degree slope. An integral spring holds the device snug to the road surface while enabling it to ride over bumps and potholes. It is easy to install and meets all FHWA and AAA slope criteria. Consider the addition of a Transtech shoulder wedge maker for your next road project.
Transtech, simple solutions to complex asphalt paving problems. Why not give us a call today?